Welcome, everyone. What time is it? Whew, 9 minutes. Okay, I owe you 9 minutes because we are starting a little bit late. My name is Mr. Uminski. This is the Principles of Food and Beverage Cost Control, RSTO 2301. This is section 5. We are meeting on Mondays and Wednesdays from 2 to 3:15. Okay. All my contact information is up here, my email and phone number. This is also found on the homepage of Canvas. So if you ever need to get a hold of me, the best way to get a hold of me is by email. Okay. You can also call me because this is my office number. Please don't text it because it won't go anywhere, right? It goes to a landline. But I have my phone in my office forwarded to my cell phone. So if you call me, it will probably ring to my cell phone. I don't usually answer calls that I don't know the numbers for. So please leave a message. If you don't hear back from me within a good 2 to 3 minutes, go ahead and give me a call back. Okay. I may be in class, so that also may be a reason why I don't answer. But yeah, so just keep that in mind as we move forward. The best way to get a hold of me is through email, so that way I can respond to it. If you don't get a response from me and from email within a day, it's okay to send me a reminder email. Hey, Ms. Uminski, just wanted to check, see if you got my email yesterday. It's totally fine to do that because I usually on average, I get between 100 and 120 emails a day. So sometimes it's really easy to get buried in all the extra emails that come through. So I have no problems with you sending me an email to remind me that you sent me an email. Okay. I saw a lot of hands earlier when I asked, this is your first time taking classes with me. For those of you who are not familiar, I typically use Zoom to record all of my lectures. Okay. So I record everything live. And then I will post it in Canvas so that if you miss class or if you need to go back and remember how I taught a certain math function or a certain equation, you have that ability to go back, okay, and watch it. The difference between what I've done in the past and this semester is if you watch the introduction video, we are, with these sections of 2301, we are piloting the use of a high flex format. And high flex is where we are teaching synchronously, which means at 2 o'clock every day or every Monday, Wednesday, I'm teaching, okay? But you have the option whether you want to log into Zoom or if you want to come into class physically, okay? Both ways, you'll get counted for your attendance. I am still working on this, so I still have to kind of figure out what my policies are. So if you log into Zoom and for whatever reason I ask a question and you don't respond because you've walked away and you've just logged into Zoom thinking that's your attendance, I may have to put in like a camera policy to keep your camera turned on, things like that. But I really don't, we're all going to kind of work on this together as we move forward. Okay. When we talk about piloting, we're doing it in a small controlled environment, which then will take the lessons that we learned and we'll apply that to a larger group of people, meaning either within our department and or campus wide. So that's kind of exciting to be a part of that. All right, so let's start today with a math problem. 2020 was a math problem. If you're going down a river at 2 miles an hour and your canoe loses a wheel, how much pancake mix would you need to reshingle your roof? Any thoughts? Yeah, exactly. I don't know either. Okay. We are not doing that type of math in this class. Okay. We are doing applied math, which means the type of math problems that we're going to be doing, you can actually kind of physically close your eyes and kind of visualize what we're trying to do, right? We're working with actual real world examples. How many of you have taken college algebra? Anybody? Okay. What are you looking for most times in algebra? You're looking for the x, right? Well, in this case, we're still looking for x, but we know what x is. We know it's the number of tomatoes, or we know it's how many servings do we get out of a bag of lettuce mix, right? So we know what the X is, and we're actually just quantifying and actually saying what that is. So we are not doing this type of math, okay? Anybody feeling like this lately? No? Cool, calm as a cucumber, some of y'all? Anybody feeling stressed like this? I feel like this on a daily basis, okay? I think that's what keeps me going from one thing to the next, right? Um, today actually ends a 1 week break. So I'm in school right now taking classes online. And luckily, I had a 1 week break. And tomorrow, my class starts all over again, brand new class starts all over again. So tomorrow, and within the first week, I have a 1,200 word paper to turn in. So, yeah, looking forward to that. All right, so we are going to do some quick class introductions. Okay. Oops. There we go. Tell us your name, what degree you're at, what degree you're studying, your favorite restaurant, or a fun fact about you. Okay. So my name is Mr. Uminski. My degree right now currently is a doctorate of education in organizational leadership at Grand Canyon University, and with a focus in higher ed leadership. So that way I can be president of the college someday. Favorite restaurant? That's a tough one. So I'm going to go to a fun fact instead. I guess I'm going to say Italian restaurants. I love Italian food. So Italian restaurants are good for me. Fun fact about me. I sang backup choir for Andrea Bocelli twice. So that's my little fun fact. All right, who would like to go next? Anybody? Anybody? Okay, here you go. Okay, excellent. Ask somebody who else would like to go next, and then make sure you make eye contact so you don't just pelt them in the face. There you go. Nice. Have you been to Trapper's Seafood Sushi? It's all you can eat at the bar, the sushi bar. Oh my gosh, it's so good. And they're not like HEB rolls. They're like legit rolls. Yeah, that's one of them. There's a lot of all you can eat popping up. Yeah. Nice.
Favorite restaurant is best quality.
It's a good one.
The fun fact is that
Nice. The rock and roll marathon. Oh, okay. Awesome. Congratulations. Full marathon or half marathon? How long did it take you? Nice. That's good. Good, good. My first full, I did 4:26. That was my fastest full ever. Nice. Nice. Congratulations. It's 26.2 miles, for those of you who don't know what a full marathon is. The day I ran my first full marathon, I was like, okay, it took me 4.5 hours. I thought, do I want to run 26 miles or do I want to drive to Dallas? Because it'll take me the same amount of time to do those two things. Crazy. Go ahead.
My favorite restaurant is Front at the Front.
Okay,
It's a ramen. And then fun fact, I play something.
nice. Good job. It's a good one. Nice. Awesome. All right, who's next? Oh my gosh, ladies, let all the guys go first.
Name is Daniel. Which is culinary arts. My favorite restaurant is probably Chama Gaucho.
Good one. Nice. They're opening a downtown location. hmm Like down the block from Texas de Brazil, which makes no sense to me, but that's neither here or there. It's the same place. Awesome. Cool. What's that? Yeah.
My name's Lydia. I am taking pastry and pastry arts degree. Favorite restaurant, one actually closest to here is Chico Noodle by HEB. Fun fact, I worked here at St. Philip's for like 5 years now.
Nice. Where? Okay. Nice. Baking and pastry is very chemistry related. Very cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Nice. Where'd you go to high school? Reagan. Okay, cool. Love what? Mexican. Good. Awesome. Cool. Is that everyone? Yes. Okay. We have Garrett on online. I need to figure out my microphone situation. So I'm gonna communicate for Garrett because he's talking to me in my ear. So Garrett, do you want to introduce yourself? What degree are you going for?
I'm Garrett Steele. I'm going for a culinary arts degree right now.
Okay. Culinary arts. And do you have a favorite restaurant or a fun fact?
Um, having a favorite restaurant's so hard because there's so many of them. I love to eat, so I guess I'll just pick a type of food like you did. I'll probably go with I really like Korean or Japanese cuisine. There's
He's going
this,
with Korean and Japanese cuisine.
yeah. Um, there's actually
Awesome.
this one restaurant that I like to eat at called Godori, and it's kind of like a hibachi restaurant, but they also do like Korean and Japanese dishes too. So like they'll do like sushi or bibimbap and stuff like that. Um,
Awesome.
uh, fun fact about me, I probably um the only thing I can think of is that I can touch my nose with my tongue. Yeah, that one right there.
Awesome. Okay. So this is his favorite restaurant, Godori. And his fun fact is he can touch his
My
tongue to
nose
his
with my tongue.
nose.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. I'm gonna make sure I get these speakers working so that I don't have to relay that kind of information.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. That is one of my to do things. So I do wear my headset because traditionally in the past I'm only recording, not teaching live. And so in the past, I've always used this because it gives a much better audio quality than trying to use the speakers in here. And so, but I need to, now that I'm teaching this class live, I need to get better with using these speakers. So, all right. Love it. All right, so logging in, the best way to log in is through ACES. That's the way I usually do it. Selecting your courses. Of course, we are in section 5. The modules is the best way to navigate throughout our course, okay? Because I have it broken down by weeks. So week 1, week 2, all the way through week 16. So it kind of gives you an idea of what we're going to be doing from week to week. Our schedule may change a little bit, but that's okay. It depends on, we had a closure this week. We had no school on Monday because of a holiday. So some things might change, but for the most part, we'll use those modules. This is for my Wednesday night class. So I'm going to do this real quick in real time. Monday, Wednesday, 2 p.m. to 3:15, and Tuesday, Thursday, 2 p.m. to 3:15. All right, so I do like to put all of my class periods on here because, for example, let's say maybe one week you're gonna have a doctor's appointment that's on Wednesday, but you have Tuesday or Thursday free, right? Whatever I do on Monday, I do on Tuesday. Whatever I do on Wednesday in this class, I'm gonna do on Thursday with my Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday class. Now I do have a Wednesday night class. So whatever I do on Monday and Tuesday is the first half of my Wednesday class. And then the second half of Wednesday is going to be Wednesday and Thursday. Okay. So if you're going to be missing a class, then you're welcome to come into another class in the same type of material, right? So Monday or Tuesday, if you're going to miss Wednesday, you can either come in Wednesday night to that class or you can come in on Thursday. Okay. I have plenty of seats that are available. You just have to make sure that when you do come in to make up a class, that you tell me that I go back to your class's attendance and update your attendance record. Okay. So you're welcome to come on any. I know it's kind of weird to say that, but I teach the same thing. Okay. I keep my classes together. So in a way, it was kind of nice that we had campus closed yesterday because if I only meet once a week, then I only meet once a week with all my classes. So I try to keep my classes all together. As we're in class, I know that we are in the hospitality and we're in the culinary side. Sometimes in the kitchen, the language is not the most professional. But we are in the business management class. We are not in the kitchen. So I ask that you keep your language professional. Please no swearing. I know sometimes it just slips out, but if I hear anything, I'll just say hate language and kind of call you out on that. But to say that I've never said a swear word, it would be lying, right? But decorum and professionalism is all about knowing how to behave in specific situations. And so in this situation, we are a business professional environment. So I ask that you act that way with your language. I'm not going to require you to dress professionally. You're more than welcome to if you would like to. If you are in your chef uniform, gentlemen, I see all three of you, perfect, buttoned all the way to the top. You don't have to have your hairnet on and your hat because we're not in the kitchen, but you should either have your full uniform or no uniform. Okay, so I'm going to hold you to the same standard as we would if you were in the lab. If you want to come in and take off your chef coat, then I encourage you to bring a pair of blue jeans or something so you're not wearing a white t-shirt and black pants. That's only half of your uniform. Okay, it's either your full uniform or not your full uniform. Okay, so please keep that in mind. How many of y'all are in the Wednesday service class that has Wednesday service either downstairs or upstairs? Okay, because this is kind of cool. This is the first time ever we have two lunch in like restaurants at the same time. That's really exciting. Remind your classmates that you have a 2 o'clock class. Okay, because if your classmates are dragging and you come in late, it's going to be counted as a tardy. Okay, so remind your classmates that you have a 2 o'clock class do it professionally. Again, don't use foul language. Sometimes we might want to, but we want to make sure that we are communicating professionally in that regard. Okay. Any questions about our class expectations? We do have videos in Canvas. So let me show you that real quick. So where it says chapter 1, chapter 1, lesson 2, these are pre-recorded lectures, okay? They are anywhere from 5 minutes to, I think my longest one is about 14 minutes, which I've been told is 5 times too long for y'all's attention span. But research says, I don't know what research that is. I didn't read it. But so I tried to do a pre-recorded lecture. So that way it coincides with the textbook. Okay. You can follow along in the textbook. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go over that information more in depth when we're in class. Okay. So that's very high level introduction. And then when we're in class, we'll actually do activities. You'll notice here there's in-class discussion notes. Okay. You can download this page. I will print it. So if you are in class, I will print this and have it on the back table. So when you come in, you'll pick up your name tent until I get to learn your names. You'll pick up your name tent and you'll pick up whatever paper is in the back. Okay. And so basically you'll have this as an opportunity for your notes page in class. And then if you look in the assignments, we have extra credit. So chapter 1 through chapter 10, we have extra credit for the live lecture discussion notes. When you fill that out and you just basically take a picture of it and upload it to this document here, to this assignment, okay, you will then get 0.25 points added to your final average for every chapter that's complete. Okay, so let's do some math real quick. We have 10 chapters. Oops. 10 chapters times 0.25 points per chapter. How many total points can you get? 2.5 total points. So if you have an 88 and you've done all 10 chapters, that's going to bump you up to a 90.5, okay? Which will bump you up to an A. This extra credit is designed to get you, if you need that little extra bump to get to the next grade level, okay? If you have an 82, I can't help you out to get to an A, okay? But this is a way to help you out to get up to that that extra bonus to up to the next grade level if you need it, okay? You can take a picture. There's also a way to scan documents on your phones. I know primarily with iPhones, I'm not quite sure how to do with Androids, but there is a way to scan documents that you can just upload directly into Canvas if you have the Canvas app, okay? Yes. Exactly. That one notes page that I have back there, you fill it out completely, take a picture of it, and that way I know that you filled it out and upload it. Okay. Questions? That's a good question. Any other questions? All right. How are we doing on time? We're doing okay. So by Monday, okay, I will also upload a course calendar and I will also assign due dates to all the assignments, okay? Right now, I haven't done that yet. This is the first time I've taught this class 3 times in one semester. So I'm just trying to just wrap my head around that, teaching an extra class. So I'm working on those calendars to get them updated, and then I will assign due dates for all of your assignments, okay? Because I know that's kind of stressful if you look and you're like, I don't know when anything is due, okay? Primarily it's due in the order that it's in the modules, but it's helpful to have it as have due dates assigned to it. So I will make sure I get that, okay? Questions, comments, concerns so far? All right. So almost always your assignments are going to be due at 8 a.m. on the first class meeting of the week. So for us, that's Monday in this class. Okay. Anybody can tell me why I chose 8 a.m.? Yes. Yeah. So you don't have to stress about how many of you guys are doing your homework in the middle of the night. Anybody? Right? Okay. Like I mentioned before, I'm in school right now. I did my master's degree 2018 to 2020 at North Texas online. And I all my due dates were default to 11:59 p.m., right? I can guarantee you that I am not up at 11:59 p.m. waiting to grade your paper. Okay? So if I'm not waiting to grade your paper, what difference does it make if you have an extra 8 hours to work on it? Because there's sometimes that you got to stay up until 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. You get off your work at your shift at work, and you got to knock out that homework assignment. I get it. Okay. So for my classes, it's always 8 a.m. on the first day that you meet. So for us, it's going to be Mondays. Okay. There will be one assignment that'll be due. You know what? Yeah, I'll make it due on Monday as well. Okay. So you'll see that a couple of assignments will be due this coming Monday. Um, our classes are meant to be discussions. Okay. Now, if you watch the videos beforehand, jot down some questions that you might have, bring those up in class, and we can definitely talk about those in more detail. Okay. Or let's say you're watching, how many of you guys have industry experience? You've worked in the hospitality industry. Okay. Cool. Let's say you're watching the video and you're like, oh, we did that when I worked at this job, right? So you can bring that information to us as part of the class discussion, because then that helps to maybe somebody else solidify the concept into their mind if they can apply it to a real world application. So discussions, please watch the videos and then come to class ready to discuss. So there is a getting started quiz. It's going to be due on Monday. I will make sure that assignment has a due date of Monday at 8 a.m. Okay. All right. Who wants some money? Okay. Awesome. I am not giving you money today. Okay. But I am going through the course of this class. I am going to give you concepts that you can apply in a real world setting that can lead to money. I'll give you a perfect example. I had a student, he did his practicum, he did his internship at Panda Express. He was an assistant manager for his internship. Shortly after, he was promoted to general manager of his Panda Express restaurant. And because he told me this, because he implemented some concepts that he learned in this class in that first year as a general manager, he got a $10,000 bonus at the end of the year. Because what we're doing in this class is we're controlling our food service costs. If we can control our costs, that's going to keep our profit low. Sorry, that's going to keep our costs low, and that's going to bring our profit up. Okay. And so we're going to talk about different ways that you can control your costs so that way you can increase your profit. Well, if you increase your profit and your company says, oh my gosh, you increased my profit, I'm going to give you a bonus. Okay. Another perfect example, one of my jobs that I use a lot as an example is when I worked in Maine. So there was a place called the Acadia Institute of Oceanography. It's a little small summer camp for about 50 to 60 people, about 42 students, 8 to 12 staff, depending on the year. But my job as the cook was to prepare breakfast and dinner for 50 to 60 people a day. My first summer going back, so I went to 7, 8, and 9, and then I got a real person job, and I had to stay in San Antonio. And then the day that I got this job teaching 10 years ago, which is hard to believe, I called my parents and said, hey, I got the job teaching. And I hung up the phone and I called my boss in Maine and I said, hey, I got the job teaching. I need to be in Maine this summer. I'd love to come back as the cook. So the cook in 2014 decided not to come back. And fortunately, I was given the opportunity to come back in 2015 to be the cook for this camp. Because I implemented a lot of cost-saving initiatives, the cook in 2014 went $3,000 over budget. In 2015, I came $3,000 under budget. So I basically saved my boss $6,000 from one year to the next. And so she gave me a $2,000 bonus. And she's like, you know what? You worked hard to save that money. And so I'm going to give you a little bit more back in return. So understanding how we can utilize these things, it can be applied in not only culinary and baking and pastry, but it's also can be applied in hospitality, hotel, and restaurants as well. Okay. So now we're going to do some math. All right, this printed one-sided. I apologize. Usually I try to print double-sided to save some trees. There we go. Okay. Thank you. Logan, you're depriving me of my steps. No, I'm just kidding. All right. So we're going to do some math. And what I would like you to do, we have numbers 1 through 10. Okay. The slash is division, just so we're all aware. Okay. The slash is divide. And then the little asterisk, little star is multiply. Okay. So I want you to do those 10 math problems. You can use a calculator. You don't have to do them in your head. You can use a calculator. You can use your phone as a calculator if you want to. Okay. I'm going to give you, what time is it? I'm going to give you 4 minutes. Okay. So at 2:45, we're going to move on. So go ahead and if you want to compare your answers with your neighbor once you finish, just make sure you're on the right track. Silence. On a scale of 1 to 5, show me with your fingers how hard this math was. 1 is the super easiest math you've ever done in your life. 5 is quantum physics. I see some 2s. I see some 1s. I see some mostly 2s and 1s. I see a 3. Excellent. Garrett, what are you thinking?
It was pretty easy, yeah. I was just
Okay.
trying to figure out how to interact with the thing, so it took me a second, but
Okay,
I
awesome.
got it figured out.
Pretty easy. Good. Okay, so now let's take a look at these math problems. Let's see if you got them right. Okay, what is 36 divided by 4? 9. Oops. Why is my pen not working? Pen. There we go. 9. Okay, so 9 what? We don't know. Okay. Now I'm going to give you these papers. Pass that down for me, please. And we're going to use these word problems. There we go. Thank you. All right, so how many 4-ounce portions will we get from 36 ounces of salad mix? So we can visualize a bag that's 36 ounces. How many 4-ounce portions can I get out of that? Okay, so I do 36 ounces divided by my 4-ounce portion gives me 9 portions. Okay. Now, This is all different types of math we're going to do throughout the whole semester. So don't freak out. We're going to go into a lot more detail. This is very high level. The purpose of this activity is just to show you we are adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. That's all we're doing in this class, okay? And for I don't know if you are like me, but I love math, okay? And I love math. I love it from a very step-by-step way. I love math because even if the answer is there is no answer, there's always an answer in math, okay? And so we can always find the answer mathematically, and I do it step by step by step, okay? So we'll get to that as we get through other things. So as we get to some of these concepts, be like, whoa, Mr. Minsky, my head's hurting. Don't worry. We'll go into more detail throughout the semester. So what's 15 minus 13? 2. 2 what? I don't know. Let's find out. If we yield 13 pounds, so yield means how much we have left over. So if we yield 13 pounds from a 15-pound case of tomatoes, how much product did we lose in prep? So we start with 15 pounds minus the 13 pounds we ended up with, and we lost 2 pounds lost. So maybe we're doing tomato concasse, take that core out, we boil it, right? Peel the skin off, let's get the seeds out of there. So that all that product is product that we paid for. We paid for it by the pound, but we're not going to be using it in the end product. And so we still have to figure out what that cost is going to be, okay? Now, same numbers, 13 divided by 15. What do we get? 0.86 repeating. Okay, so 86666666666. All right, okay. So I'm gonna round out to 8.67, 86.7. Okay. This is a percentage. So everybody write in your notes page, right there, write percent equals part over the whole. Percent equals part over the whole. This is the universal formula for percentage. Okay. We're taking the part, we're dividing it by the whole. Okay. Now, there is one extra step. Times 100. When we time something by 100, what's it going to do to that decimal place? How many zeros are in 100? 2 zeros. So we're going to move this over by 2. And that gives us 86.7%. Okay. So question, what is our percentage yield if 13 pounds of tomatoes remain from a 15-pound case? Our percentage yield is 86.7%. Okay. 13 pounds divided by the part divided by the whole equals 0.86666 repeating, right? When we're talking about percentages, we only want one decimal place. That's why I rounded this third number up to a 7 to get 0.867. I'm going to round that and make it 86.7%. Why can't you make it 87%? Right? Normal rounding rules. Let's round it up to the nearest whole number. Why can't I round that up to 87%? It's a good question. I'm glad you asked. Okay. The reason why you can't is that represents real tomatoes. I can't get 0.3 of a percentage of a tomato out of that. I can't come up with now. If I have it and it grows like that, that's gross. I don't want to eat that tomato, right? If it adds 0.3% of weight to it, maybe it's been in the refrigerator too long and it's grown some hair and some mold. I don't want to eat that tomato, right? So with this, we have to be very specific. You could round it down to 86%, right? And then you have a little bit of extra leeway, but we want to keep it pretty precise. And 1 decimal point allows us to do that. All right, 2,000 minus 1,500. 500. Okay. What is our profit? I'm going to change it to green for money. What is our profit if sales equals 2,000 and costs or expenses is equal to 1,500? Okay. So $2,000 minus our expenses of $1,500 equals 500. Okay. So this is one that we're going to go over next class. But profit, you want to write this down? Profit or loss equals sales minus expenses. Sales minus expenses. We could also use revenue or costs interchangeably with these two terms. Okay, sales and revenue, the same thing. Expenses and costs, the same thing. Okay, so that's our profit and loss formula, sales minus expenses. Why do we have to do sales first? Can we flip it? Can we do expenses minus sales? Why don't you think, Daniel?
Take away that you don't.
Okay, good, excellent. When we usually subtract, what have we always been taught? When you subtract, you put the bigger number where? Usually put the bigger number first, right? In this case, we can't do that because what if our expenses are more than our sales? We have a negative number, which means we have a loss. Okay, and so we have to do sales minus expenses because if you didn't and you put your expenses, if we put $1,500 minus 2,000, you might think, oh my gosh, I don't have no more money. But in reality, you've got $500. Okay, so it's important that we use this formula. Keeping an eye on time. How are we doing? Okay, we're good. All right, 25 times 0.9. Russell, what did you get? 22.5. Okay, 22.5 what? Let's find out. This is our expected yield. Okay, so what is our expected yield from 25 pounds of potatoes if they have a 90% yield factor? Okay, so I can go the other way, right? The first way, we started with 15 pounds of tomatoes and we ended up with 13 pounds. Now I can go the opposite direction. If I know that potatoes have a 90% yield factor, I can multiply by my yield factor. So 25 pounds times 0.9, I'm gonna put a little 0 right there, okay? To get it back to our decimal, we take 90%, move that decimal place back 2 spots, and we've got 0.90, okay? You don't have to put the 0 in, but if it makes it more comfortable for you to see 0.90, go for it. You're not gonna lose much out of that quarter of a second of your life, okay? If it means you get the right answer, go for it, okay? So we multiply those two numbers, we get 22.5 pounds. Why do you think it's important to know the yield factor of an ingredient? Definitely for the expenses, absolutely. Good, yes. You have enough of your recipes, absolutely. If I know that I need to do 100 pounds of potatoes, can I just order 100 pounds of potatoes? I got to order a little extra, right? Because I'm going to peel the potatoes. I'm going to cut off some bad spots. I'm going to lose product. If I only ordered 100 pounds and then I peel and cut everything off, I'm going to end up with 90 pounds. Do I have enough for my recipe? I don't, right? And if I run out of product, let's say I'm doing catering for somebody, I run out of product, I run out of potatoes, Am I going to get a rebooking from that group? Probably not. Okay. So it's important that and we're going to go through again some of these examples in more depth. 2.25 times are divided by 0.32, which are some weird numbers. Zarina, what did you get? Yes. Okay, so 7.031. So let's take a look. What price should we sell our entree if the cost is $2.25 and we aim for a 32% food cost? Okay, so $2.25 divided by 0.32 gives me $7.03. How many of you have ever seen a menu item on sale for $7.03? Right, it's pretty rare. What might you see it written as? $6.99. Okay, we definitely don't want to go lower. So $7.25, $7.50, right? We might go up a little bit. We don't want to go lower because that's going to impact our costs, right? Our sales. So we might go up just a little bit, maybe $7.10, $7.15, right? There's a whole theory behind the psychology of pricing. I don't know if y'all are like me, but I am a sucker for the 0.99. I'm like, if it's $6.99, I'm like, oh, it's only $6. No, it literally is $7, right? But in my mind, I see $6. I'm like, oh, that's cool. It's only $6. So I am a marketer's like best dream because I fall for that stuff all the time. All right. Number 7, 45. Actually, let me go back real quick. So on your notes page somewhere, I would like you to draw this triangle, just like you see it here. Divide it halfway, and then divide the bottom section in half as well. I would draw it relatively big. Okay, if you want to flip your page over, write it in the bottom half of the page, relatively big. Okay, 15 minutes. Okay. Cost, percent, sales. So then write these 3 things in those sections: cost, percent, sales. What mathematical function does this line look like? Division. I don't think I'm too close. Okay, so that's division. And what's the opposite of division? Multiplication. Okay. To manipulate this tool, this is going to give you a tool that's going to give you 3 mathematical formulas. Okay. Without even have to memorizing a formula, just remember that cost goes on the top, percent and sales on the bottom. So I got to remember. Okay. The way that we do this, what price should we sell it for? That's what we're asking for, right? We cover up what we're looking for. What price should we sell it for? And what remains? Cost divided by percentage. So you just cover up what you're looking for, and then you have your formula. Your menu price is the cost divided by the percentage. The cost divided by the percentage. Okay? If I'm looking for the percentage, what would I do? Cover up percentage, and I would have cost divided by sales. Okay? Does it matter which side the percent in sales goes on the bottom? Why? You still divide by the cost, but if we're looking for the cost, what is our formula? Percent times sales, right? It's multiplication. You can go either way. It doesn't matter. So just remember that cost goes on the top, sales on the bottom, and percentage. Division and multiplication. So draw this tool, and then you can remember, okay, I'm looking for how much I should sell it for. Draw my tool, cost divided by percentage. Okay? Excuse me. All right, so let's go through these next ones relatively quickly. Our food cost percentage. Okay, so remember, we draw our triangle, cost percent sales. Okay. Now, if I'm looking for our food cost percentage, cover that up. And what's left over? Our cost of 4,500 divided by 15,000. Sorry, that's a bad 5. Okay. And what's my answer? 0.3. Okay. So now I move that decimal place over 2, right? Because I'm going to multiply by 100. Fill in that gap with a 0, and I've got 30%. That's my food cost percentage. Okay. Number 8, 15 times 0.4, 6. Okay. So I'm going to go through this relatively quickly because 8, 9, and 10 are all combined to each other. So how much of a 15-pound brisket will remain if the yield factor of 40%? So 15 pounds times the 40% yield factor gives me 6 pounds left. Okay. 6 times 16. What do you think I'm doing here? Ounces, right? So 6 times, how many ounces are in 6 pounds? 6 pounds times 16 ounces. Because we all should remember that there's 16 ounces in a pound. And 96 ounces. Okay. 96 divided by 8. 12. How many servings? Good. How many 8-ounce portions will you get from a 15-pound brisket with the 40% yield factor? That's combined all those questions, right? So you have to kind of go step by step by step. The first step, okay, is my yield factor. I gotta apply that yield factor first to get 6 pounds. I start with 15 pounds, I end up with 6. And then I multiply it by 16 because I'm looking for 8 ounces and I've got 15 pounds. My units don't match. I have to get them to be the same. And then ultimately I have 12 servings out of that 15-pound brisket. Okay. Math. So we're doing this semester. Okay. There's very few chapters that don't have math in them. Okay. But a lot of them are going to be very similar. Okay. I have 10 minutes left. So I have a day 2 PowerPoint. Let me just breeze through this real quick and let me just double check. No, I don't want to breeze through this real quick. I'm going to go over this on Monday next week. Okay. On Monday, we're having a quiz. Okay. On Monday, we're having a quiz. And the quiz is going to be your triangle. So study that triangle tool. I'm going to give you a piece of paper that has a blank triangle, and you're going to fill it out, and you're going to write the formula for each one. Okay. So study that triangle. Let me review it one more time. Okay. So triangle, what goes on top? Cost, percent, and sales. Okay. And if whatever I'm looking for, I do what? I cover it up, and then whatever's left over. So percent equals the cost divided by sales. Okay. Now, in our example, we did 2 different ways. One was one ingredient or one menu price, right? The other one was all of our cost combined and all of our sales combined. So you can view it in a lot of different ways. Okay. You could also say menu price instead of selling price. Okay. I'll accept that. But cost divided by the sales and the percentage. Okay. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Yes, Dre.
Like, does it have to be exactly or?
That's a good question. So general rule of thumb, if it's a percentage, 1 decimal. Okay. Unless it's like that example, it was 30, right? It's exactly 30%. But if it's percentage, 1 decimal. Okay. If it's money, if we're talking money, how many decimal places do we need for money? We need 2 decimal places. Okay. So, and this is going to be kind of a weird concept for some of y'all. It'll take you a little bit to grasp it. But when we're talking about money, let's say we got $7. What was that one? $7.031. Okay. We are going to consider that $7.04. Okay. Why? Because it's money, right? We don't want to round down. We're going to be losing money. This one right here, excuse me, this one represents 1/10 of a penny. And that sounds weird to say it, right? 1/10 of a penny. If I sell this item 10 times, that's 1 penny. And you might think, oh, Mr. Mix, that's just 1 penny. That's not a big deal. If I sell this thing 1,000,000 times in the year, my bestseller, what's 1,000,000 times 1 penny? I don't know because it's too late in the afternoon. So let's just do it on 1,000,000 times 0.01. That's an extra $100,000 a year. So 1 penny can make a huge difference. Now, if we did 1,000,000 items, make sure I have my decimal, and we're open 360 days a year, that's 27,000 in one day. I don't think we're selling that many in a year, but just to kind of show you how 1 penny can make a difference. Okay. And so that when it comes to money like that, Dre, we're going to round up to the nearest penny. Even if this was 7.03000001, we would still round it up to the nearest penny of $7.04. Okay. And in my Canvas quizzes, whenever we have quizzes online, I have a general margin of error built in. So I have a margin of error depending on what the ingredient is. We have a margin of error of 2 cents, a margin error of 5 cents, right? So if it's a margin error of 2 cents, anywhere from 701 to 705, Canvas will count it correctly, anywhere in that range. So that way, if you're not exactly to the penny, and it gets counted wrong, I have seen that students get frustrated. And what I don't want you to do is I don't want you to get frustrated to the point where that you are not going to be getting it correct. Okay. So yeah, so our quiz on Monday is going to be this pyramid. I got to figure out how I'm going to do this quiz if people that are on Zoom. A lot of different things I'm going to have to learn, learning curve with this new high flex. But yeah, any questions, comments, concerns?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask regarding the quiz if I needed to go in person or if I could do it remotely or not, Mr.
Yeah,
Miss.
I will try to figure that out, Garrett, before on Monday. Yeah, how
Okay.
I'm gonna give that quiz. Yeah.
Okay. And for me to get credit today, did you need me to turn in the stuff that I did along during the
Nope.
session or?
Nope, we're good. These are your notes for today. You don't have to turn anything in as far as extra credit for these. This is just for your notes. I will have chapter 1 on Monday, so please watch the chapter 1 videos and come ready to discuss them on Monday. You can leave your name tents where they are. I'll come by and pick them up. But y'all, thank you so much. I'm excited for this semester, and I will see y'all on Monday. Have a good weekend.
You too, Mr. Minsky. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.